Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day, because I'm certainly excited to be back here in the beautiful city of Nerdshire, where things, as always, are going pretty darn well indeed. We are currently sitting on about $8.5 million with a population of about 125,000 people. We do have a slight issue in the sense that there is a lot of demand. If you just look around the city, a lot of demand for goods to sell. People aren't very happy about the fact that there are not enough goods to sell. We are going to be working towards fixing that, but before we can do that, we are going to be working on this new ring road that I put around this highway that you can see right here. We did this last episode. If you didn't see that, you should probably go watch it, because it makes sense to watch things in order. But I did see a really, really interesting suggestion for this area that I'm actually going to try, and that is basically trams. Someone wanted me to put trams in this new area, and I actually think that's a really, really good idea, and I think that could be really fun. Now, the thing is, trams, for the most part, are going to be, hey, go from this part to this part of the city. You know, they're kind of an inter-district transportation method, except I'm going to use them in a very similar way to what I've done with everything else, because this area is not actually that big. I kind of want there to be a tram stop in each of, like, the tiles here. Maybe not the corner ones, but each of these, like, squares, these spaces, I think should have a tram stop. So my thinking is we can go ahead and get some of these two-lane roads along here to have trams on them. The problem is that the only avenue that can have trams is the 4-lane road, which means this road here is going to have to be downgraded to have fewer lanes on it, unless we go ahead and decide that we want to have the tram track itself be separate from the road, which is always a thing we could do. We could run the tram track along sort of here, for example, have it really, really close to the road. Unfortunately, we can't put it there. That would look really nice. If I was to get Road Anarchy, which I might do very soon. What is this, part 25? I think around part 30 of this series, I'll go ahead and start installing some more mods. But we could do this kind of thing. We could have the tram track running along real close to this avenue. I think that could be really nice. Very, very tempted to do that. So to be honest, I think I will do that. So we'll start there, and we'll do a section that runs the whole way down here. Now, this is going to cause some issues in terms of further expanding this road a little bit later on, I am aware. And I will... No. Yeah, we are not going to put it that close at the moment. We'll change that up, and we'll maybe put it that close a little bit later down the line, like I said, once Road Anarchy is installed, but I am not dealing with that nasty looking texture there. So we'll do it like this. We'll run the whole way down to the other corner, which is just there. That looks a bit better. What I want to do is the same thing over here, so it's going to run from there the whole way down to the other corner as well, so to about there. And what we can go ahead and do is actually just give that the same treatment in terms of curves that we gave the other bit, if that's going to be possible, which it might not be. Oh, come on, work with me. Work with me, cities. There we go. That's what I want to see. Look at that. That is going to look really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing some trams running up and down there. I do need to find a way to, you know, actually connect them to everything else, but I think this is going to be a nice little addition to the edge of the city. I think it's going to look really, really good. So let's figure out how these two are going to be connected, because I'm not convinced that this is actually going to snap. Work with me, cities. Come on. I don't want to have to do this in a sort of backwards manner. I really want it to just connect. Come on. So you come out there. That's about in line, I think. Oh, no, it's not. Ugh. That is horrible. What about there? I think that's about as good as we're going to get, to be honest. Yeah, that's about as good as we're going to get. That'll do the job. So that's going to run right along the edge of that avenue. Like I said, it's going to cause a couple of problems in terms of actually being able to continue the avenues through there, because that little intersection is actually big enough. Interesting. I don't know if I like that, because this little section of road here is going to be a nightmare for traffic, but if needs be, we can actually extend that. Did not expect that to work. What we'll go ahead and do, though, is, I think, turn this bit of road here into that so it has a tram track on it. We can connect these up, hopefully. Yes, we absolutely can. Then this bit through here is going to be changed to have tram tracks as well. So basically we need to go around this entire district and upgrade this entire loop, and upgrade this entire stretch of road to have tram tracks on it. And then we get the trams. Actually, we need the depot as well. But I think this could look really nice. I think it's going to be a nice addition to this edge of the city as well, especially since this is supposed to be still an area of urban sprawl, but not quite as dense as the rest of the city. This is very much the edge of the urban sprawl, and I'm kind of okay with that. Okay, so I made a bit of a change. I decided that I wasn't gonna go with the separate tram track from the main avenue. Simple reason being that it would cause issues with traffic, but what's more is there was nowhere along there I would have been able to put a proper tram stop without having roads go to the line connecting to it, and thus making a point for pedestrians to cross over. So having it set up like this, I think, is going to be a bit of a better bet, so that people can actually walk around and sort of do their thing. So with that, at this point, what I'm going to go ahead and do is start filling up some of these areas. I think that's going to be a really important thing to get done nice and early. I do actually like the idea of going ahead and doing the districts first, though, or at least, you know, we'll do the district before the zoning so that everything's ready to go. This guy over here is complaining about power, and this is actually a really small area here, so what I'll do is we'll do this one first. So this is going to be the first little district that we throw in here. Hickory Square is going to be the name. I think what I might do, though, is at some point I want to go through and rename a lot of our districts. I think that might be a really good idea. So in the comments of this episode, go ahead and by the way, I know I still haven't named the island, so what we'll do is we'll get the island a name at long last, the one that has the Statue of Industry. So in the comments below, what I want you to do is just suggest random district names. You can, you know, if you see anything here, if you want to pause and look at a specific district and you want to rename that one specifically, you know, say, hey, can you rename Belmont Hills to this or Cedar Park to this? But I also want to know what people want this island to be called over here, because it's been a while. There were a lot of good suggestions, so if you still stand by that suggestion, go ahead and throw it in, but we'll get a bunch of districts renamed at some point in the next episode or two. Also, while we're looking at the general map, I'm aware a lot of people want me to get back to the suburbs. We're working towards that at this point. This suburb over here is probably going to get deleted, because we're probably going to start expanding some proper suburbs off of this area over here once the city starts fading out into those suburban areas. So let's go ahead and get Hickory Square set up. Like I said, I want this area to be really nice, so recycling, smoke detectors, parks and rec, education boost. We're gonna go for, let's see, taxation, nothing like that. We'll do high-rise ban, we'll do encourage biking, and old-time policy. So we'll do that just there. Also, someone mentioned that I believe Fairview Heights currently has the schools out policy. If I'm not mistaken, no, it's education boost. Was it this one? I know one of these districts around here has a schools out policy. It was High District, which is currently still mostly residential. So yes, someone was concerned that I may have got rid of my district that had the schools out policy. That wasn't the case. The High District is the one that has that policy, so there's no need to be alarmed. So let's go ahead and just zone all of this in Hickory Square. We'll get that slowly developed. There is actually a power connection through there, which is huge news. So this area is going to slowly develop and hopefully look pretty darn good when it does. Again, I still need to run a lot of the roads through and get them connected to the rest of the city. That's why I'm not going to develop this whole thing just yet. But what I will do is actually look and see if there's anywhere I could connect the... Oh, no, that road's not going to connect because of the highway. We might very well have to go ahead and raise the highway or even go so far as lowering it. I don't like the idea of lowering it, though, because I like the raised highway. Or I like the highway being visible, at least. So I'm not too sure what to do with this road. We'll leave it as is for the time being. The roads over here, though, I'd like to get some of these connected through to begin with. So those two are connected through. This one can't be. This one can be. This one can. So what I'm going to do, I think, is upgrade this road like so and bring this underneath there. We'll turn off road guidelines for a second as well. So that's going to go to about there. And ideally, I'm going to have this connect over to that road, I guess. So can I actually get a nice curve there where that's going to work? Because if I can, that'd be beautiful. So that'll go straight to there and curve like that. And yeah, I think that looks okay. It's going to make things a little bit weird for zoning along the water's edge, but that is another connection to the city from this area, which, yeah, that's going to be really, really good to have, really important to have. This one might never get connected, but we'll see. Looking down here, that one's not going to get connected. That one won't get connected. Some of these probably could. Like, this one's pretty much in line to go straight through to that corner there. So maybe we're going to have to raise the train line. Actually, looking at this, we could totally do that. That would help some of the traffic flowing through this area as well. Or maybe we just keep the train line underground a little bit longer. But I don't like hiding the train line. I like it being visible. So I think I'm going to raise it up. But what I'll do first, I mean, the train line needs to go completely for a second. The highway needs to go completely for a second as well, and this road here needs to be upgraded. Now, the problem is I'm connecting to a district, Beechwood Square, which doesn't currently have an old town policy, but I'm probably going to have to adapt it slightly to actually make this work. In fact, what I want to do... Oh, of course I have a metro station just there. Oh, that would make it tricky, wouldn't it? Alright, because what I want to see if I can connect this up in a way that's going to just help traffic flow a little bit. I really wish I hadn't got a metro station there. I don't want to remove it either, because that's just going to mess up my lines. That can connect straight through there, that's fine. This line, this road here is going to go straight to... Let's see. That point for a second. I really want them to line up here. And I could get them to do that. If I just do a tiny little bit of road like that and bring this up, I could get these to curve around to each other if I wanted to. I don't know if that's... That doesn't seem necessary, though. I feel like I could get a proper right angle on this. So bring that straight up to... I don't know. Turn off road guidelines for a second. Bring that up to, like, there. Connect that straight through. And that pretty much works. It's a bit messy looking. It is definitely a bit messy looking, but it is a connection, and that's what we need. So what I'm going to do is take the district zoning off of those avenues for a second. This one is probably fine, just that avenue there. So that has a way through, basically. Traffic can go through there. There isn't an old town policy in Beechwood Square, but there probably will be at some point. So what we'll do is just delete all of this back here, and delete this a bit further down as well. Because what we can do is lower it at this point. So at least we have a couple of other connections to this part of the city. I really want more than what we currently have. It's just a bit tricky to get more than what we currently have at the moment. So we'll go to there. We'll go to there. We'll actually bring those back a little bit. And we want to lower these after 12 units. So down to there, connect them up, and that right there should be fine. We'll see how traffic deals with that. I do need to put the train line back in there, but looking at it, I don't actually need to raise it. We're just going to have the train line, I think, run through that road. I don't think that's going to be too much of a big deal. If it becomes a big deal, obviously, we can go ahead and be like, yo, train line, get out of here. But for the time being, I think we're probably fine. So that's going to go to there. We'll turn on road guidelines again so I can get a nice little curve going here. So you're going to curve to that point. And there we go. So the train is good to get out of here. There we go. Beautiful. So traffic can flow through that way. There are a lot of trains on that line is my concern, actually. Yeah, that might actually have to be raised, because there are a lot of trains in that line, but we'll see what happens. This area is actually filling up really nicely already. This area here is really suffering with workers. So what I think I'll do is Hickory Square is actually going to have a schools out policy. So they're going to prefer to work which means we should see people from this district go ahead to industrial zoning. I might do the same with Beechwood Square as well. Is say that school's out. So, I mean, that might be contradicted by the educational blimps, but I want to try and get people working in industry because we're starting to run into a serious issue where the industry is actually being abandoned and auto-deleted. What is this? Oh, I know what that is. That exists because there's absolutely going to be a metro line under there that is being a bit weird. All right. Ooh, I don't like that. Not a fan of the nasty bit of ground there, but we'll leave it for the time being because there's not a lot I can do about it currently. But we should eventually see more people go and work in these neighborhoods up here as a result of that schools out policy. Residential demand actually climbing a little bit too, which is really nice. Ooh, you know what else we're going to need out here? We are actually going to need services. Now, healthcare coverage is pretty good in this spot because there's a hospital just in there. But down this way is definitely lacking. Part of that is going to be because there are no road connections. For example, if I had a road connection through here, that would probably be fine. But what I think I'll do is I think I'm just going to throw a hospital into one of these spaces, if that's a thing I can do. Doesn't look like it's going to be, so let's just throw a hospital there. And we can throw a couple of crematoriums there. Just to run that space, and I'll do a couple of little pathways going through there as well, just to stop anything from zoning around those. So there we go. Can I connect those? No, that's fine. So yeah, that right there is going to be a little service area that'll keep this area nicely covered with medical stuff. This corner is actually lacking, so what I think I'll do is just throw a clinic in here. So a clinic can go there. Possibly also a little fire station could go there as well, just for some coverage done this way, because coverage is definitely lacking. So medical coverage is pretty good all the way across there. Over here is lacking as well. I don't think I'll bother putting anything there yet, because that's going to be the last part of this that I zone. Policing is definitely lacking out here, so I'm actually going to go ahead and throw in a full-fledged police station there, and I think I might just throw in another fire station anyway. Yeah, I think that's going to be really useful to have a proper fire station there. So yeah, that gives them pretty good coverage. And that'll hopefully improve things just a little bit done that way. Now, obviously, my income's going to take a hit, but I mean, I don't think that's too much of a big deal, to be honest. I don't think that's too much of a big deal at all. So let's go ahead and get another district built in here. I think what I'll do is go for this one next. It's a bit bigger, but I think we'll go for this one regardless. So that we can start getting more and more people in here. And while we're doing this, it is worth noting, a couple of people have pointed out that I have districts in certain areas that are, by that I mean district zoning in certain areas that are covering highways. That's not a big deal, simply because district policies do not affect highways in City Skylines. So if I left this district on that highway, which I'm sort of doing with the off-ramp, if I have the old town policy on, it's not going to make a difference to the highway off-ramp. At least as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I'm also going to do schools out in this area as well, I think, so that I'll prefer working. We'll do smoke detectors. We'll do encourage biking and high-rise ban. So yeah, we'll get that done. And this entire area, again, is going to be residential. Because I really want to bring that population up. So all of that right there, residential zoning. They have a little park up there. We could maybe do with another park sort of down here. I don't think that'd be a terrible idea to do. So we'll go ahead and throw this just into that corner if I can. Just there. Just to slightly boost the leisure and value of that area. I should probably also look into some more unique buildings. I haven't placed a lot of these. Because we've got things like the Statue of Wealth. And I really should put these in here since, you know, they are basically tourist attractions. So what is this area here? That was the schools out one. But I do think it needs something. What about the Lazarette Plaza? I really like that one. So let me just clear a little space here so I can see what I'm doing. So the Statue of Wealth I don't think is appropriate for this area. Lazarette Plaza is a weird shape. Plaza of the Dead. Ooh, that sounds Ominous. Fountain of Life and Death is a weird shape. We have got things like the Colossal Order offices. We've got the Grand Mall. We've got Helicopter Park, which is actually not bad. Let's do Helicopter Park. We'll do that, and we'll put a couple of parking lots next to it. So just like that. And I think that'll be kind of nice. And maybe we'll go ahead and do this kind of thing as well, just to stop some weird zoning in that space. I mean, it doesn't look nice. Actually, you know what? Get rid of that. Get rid of the zoning along there, and there we go. That's fine. So that's going to bring a little bit of value to that area. We really need to get more parks and stuff in here. Let's see. What else have we got? So we have things like the Oppression Office. We have things like the Science Center, the Aquarium, the Expo Center. We've got things like the Sea and Skyscraper, which I actually think could go really nice on this corner here. So let's give that a shot. Let's throw the Sea and Skyscraper just onto that corner there. And again, behind it, some parking lots. Because I can, really. That's the gist of it at this point. It really is just because I can. That the parking lots go in, but that'll just bring some nice attention to that area. It's a nice sort of standalone building that is going to slightly improve that space. We also have the Theater of Wonders, and of course we have things like all, you know, these unique buildings in here. We have the television station, which already exists. We have the Space Shuttle launch site. We have the Software Development Studio. We have the Semiconductor Plant. We have a lot of really cool buildings, like the Robotics Institute as well. We've already placed a lot of these. We haven't placed this one, though, which is the Research Center. I'd really like to get a lot of these into one area. For example, the Electric Car Factory could be really nice in its own space. The Majesty is actually a really nice building. What is that? Created by Matt Crux. It doesn't say what it is, though. Okay. I think it's a little bit too tall to have out in this area, though. So what I might do with the Majesty is throw it up here, because this area has it's pretty lacking in terms of stuff. So that right there that's a beautiful building, man. Look at that. That's really nice. That's going to do some good stuff for that area as well, yeah. So that area has suddenly got a lot happier. We have Eddie Kovango. Okay. Not going to pretend to know how to pronounce that. This building's actually going to fit in here as well, which is quite cool. Could I throw it? We could put it technically like right there. Effectively getting rid of those two. You know what? You know what I want to do? Bulldoze all of this schmeckus for a second. Get all these trees out of here. And get these pedestrian paths out of here. Because I want to see if I can put this building like fairly central in that park. So, right there. Yeah, that's kind of cool looking. Because what we can also go ahead and do, I mean, yeah, that zones the whole way back as well. So, pedestrian path there. And pedestrian path there. And we can do the cycle paths as well. I mean, we had them already. Not that many people use them, but we'll put them in. And there we go. That building's going to sort of stand alone right there at the edge of the park. And I think that looks pretty cool. It's a pretty unique looking building. It would actually look really good in a corner as well, but I like that. From this angle, it just looks like a pretty unique looking building. Which makes me wonder, could I get this building? No, I couldn't get it at the other end. Oh, good lord. That is a huge building. There's no way that's going to fit in there. All right. This thing has a pretty big radius on it as well in terms of what it will do for an area. So I'm sort of eyeing up this space here just to improve it slightly. Let's give that a shot. Let's bulldoze all of these buildings just in here. And that building fits pretty well, actually. It's going to be away from the road a little bit, but that's a huge, huge building. I feel like that needs to be in its own spot, though. I feel like that needs to be, like, at the head of a road. And I don't know. That feels like it's just... I don't know. It's the tallest building in the city, and it's just on a random corner. I mean, we did something special with this thing, is my thinking. So I don't know. I think what I might do is come back to that. I think for the time being, I'm going to leave it there. But I'd like to come back to that, and I'd like to eventually do something kind of special around this building just to make it look like it belongs, I suppose. because it does look a little odd having the city's tallest building just in some random square. But I think for the time being, it'll do the job. Also going to do this so people can walk around there, and we'll do some big tree right in the middle there. So there we go. That'll do. That should add some pretty good stuff to that area as well. This area over here is industrial zoning. You know, I could go and throw the electric... I could throw the electric car factory into one of the industrial areas. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. It just, again, I don't want to throw it in as an afterthought. A lot of these are really cool. Oh, that doesn't actually have a big radius on it, though. The Nanotechnology Center is an interesting looking building as well as the Research Center, which does have a pretty big radius, actually. What if we throw the Research Center just onto that corner there? So effectively towards... Wait, does this building already exist? No, it doesn't. Why is this space occupied then? Oh, there's a metro station there. Okay, we'll put it there. That's fine. And what we can go ahead and do is actually get a couple of my parking lots along the back of it. Just like so. Maybe move these down a little bit to there. And to there. And we'll throw a nice big tree onto that corner with a few rocks just to decorate it a little bit. That area is kind of polluted, but there's not a lot I can do about that if we're honest. So let's just, you know, throw a bunch of bushes in there and just make it look like a nice little street corner. So there we go. Research center's in place. The ground underneath it is disgusting, which is a real shame. I think what I'm going to do is actually tear out all of that industry and replace it with the offices just there. Might be an item to move these things down a little bit as well, because I want to try and surround the research center with a few offices. I don't want to get rid of too much industry, but if I can just make this thing look like it's in a bit of a nicer area, that would be really, really good. So there we go. We'll get that surrounded with offices and all that eventually. And I think stuff like what we've got left here, we can deal with eventually, especially the space shuttle launch site. I want to do something cool with that eventually. I don't want to just randomly throw it into the middle of the city because I don't think that would make sense. But what I will do is go ahead and actually get the trams up and running, because we put the lines in, but we didn't put the depot in. Now the depot is going to have to go somewhere interesting. It could go there. So I think we'll just throw the depot there right at the end of that street, because I don't imagine this area is going to be extended in the same way that all of this has been anyway. And what I want to do with the trams is honestly keep it simple. So the trams are going to have a stop sort of in the middle of each of the tiles. So we'll sort of put one there. I think we will do it in the corner ones as well. So just sort of as close to the center of the tiles as I can get is where the trams are going to stop each time. And that way you can hop on a tram and go over to the next neighborhood, I guess. So up to there. And then what I'll do is I think I'll do it in a very similar way. I could do it in a very similar way going back, I suppose. So we'll try and get it, like, as close to center as we can manage. Maybe just stagger them a little bit. But again, for the most part, we're just going to try and get it so the trams can take people back and forth around these districts. You can hop on a tram, and eventually you will loop around back to your own home. And I think that's kind of nice. So that's going to go to there, that's going to go to there, and that's going to come back around like that. And there we go. We could have trams that go the opposite direction as well. I guess we might as well have trams that go in the opposite direction. I don't think we need to worry too much about that, because if I set public transport up correctly here, which I plan on doing, the roads won't be busy anyway. What's more, I mean, I am going to put metro lines out here, but I don't think I'm going to do them in the same way that I've done the other ones. I think the metro lines that come out to this area are going to focus on getting people into the city. So there's going to be a couple of like dead-end metro lines out here that you jump on and go into the city rather than you jump on a metro line and go around this area. So if you want to go around this area, it's a tram. If you want to get out of this area, it's the metro or possibly a bus. And I think that'll be a pretty reasonable enough way to do things. So there we go. There's a couple of trams that can circle around this entire neighborhood. There's a lot of trams at the minute, but eventually they'll space out into traffic and all that stuff, so we should be fine. But I quite like that. I'm quite keen to see those get up and running. Really, really keen. Also noticing that it looks to me like the demand for goods is subsiding a little bit. We might just have a lot of buildings that are going abandoned. That is a distinct possibility. It actually looks like the answer is yes, a lot of buildings are just being abandoned right now and thus deleted because auto bulldoze. So we're gonna need to get more industry, which is the plan. Like, I'm doing this whole thing as a ring road. Like I said, I'm gonna branch off of this in interesting ways at angles and all that stuff rather than sticking with the grid off of this. So I do want to put some small industrial areas off of this road as well. I think that could be really nice to do. But I also think it's going to be important that these areas build up and we get that that schools out policy so that people are going to be more keen to go ahead and go to work rather than anything else. Wow, there's actually a decent number of people wanting on the trams there. I suppose they are currently the only form of public transport in the area, so it kind of makes sense. Still slightly surprising, though, that people are already that keen for the trams. But yeah, that's nice. Let me have a look at public transport. So we're up to about 12,000 people on the metros. Trams are at 4, which is great. Just great. If we sort these by name, the blue lines are all relatively popular, which is really, really nice. I'm really pleased to see that. Our least popular line has 74 people on it, which is this line here, for whatever reason. That's fine by me. I'm not too worried. If we look at traffic, though, I am noticing traffic is getting much, much worse around this area, which is a pretty major problem. But, I mean, again, look, I've been saying this the whole time. I just clapped my hands. Good. Eventually, I am going to install a bunch of mods, and I'm going to use a lot of those to effectively rebuild parts of the city. I'm not going to do it in the same way that I did before with the vanilla Let's Play. We had vanilla sprinkles, which was basically vanilla sprinkled with a couple of mods. I'm just going to continue. It's not going to be a new series or anything. It is just going to be, you know, mass transit part 31. Now we have mods. And basically what I'll do is go through and tear apart parts of the city, rebuild them to be more efficient because we'll have things like traffic precedent, which means we can adjust the way traffic flows a bit better. We can make roundabouts that work. We can do all that stuff to make sure traffic is going where it should be going. We can make sure that it's getting in lane as early as possible to go where it wants to go. Basically, the idea is that with the mods after part 30, a lot of the city will be rebuilt and should be more effective, is my thinking. That's the plan anyway. You know, I have to say, it's really cool just seeing how busy the city is when you get down to the streets. It's really nice. I like it. I really like it. This whole area in general, honestly, is getting busier and busier. This road especially is going to be quite busy as it's the only road that connects up to this, like from this part of the city. The rest of them are over here and way up there. This one I can't imagine is getting used at all at the moment either. But that's all right. The trams are sort of doing their thing currently. Like you can see, I've gone ahead and added in 2 more parts down here. Both of those are just entirely residential zoning. Honestly, this whole area is probably going to end up being residential, although now that I think about it, that's probably not the best idea in the world, because what will happen is there'll be no real reason for people to go back and forth on the trams. So what I think I will do is we'll have one area just here dedicated entirely to commercial zoning. And I usually don't do that. I know I've spent a fair bit of this series talking, well, not a fair bit, but I've spent a bit of time at one point during one episode. I was talking about how I like to mix up my districts so that they're not all just one type of zoning. I do primarily want this whole area out here to be residential, but I do think having some commercial out this way is also going to be a pretty significant benefit. We'll also do big business benefactor, high-rise band, biking, old town. We're also going to do a tax relief for high-density commercial. Recycling, smoke detectors, parks and rec. We could even go so far as doing like free public transport. I don't think we'll do that though. But that's fine. We've got all of that stuff there. this area is going to be quite nice for commercial premises to exist in, which makes me very happy indeed. So, at this point, really, we are going to be playing the waiting game. We are just going to be waiting for people to, you know, come into these areas. So what I think I might do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to put a metro station just at that corner there, all right? And I'm going to put another metro station just at this corner, actually about that point there. So that's going to be fine. And I'm also going to put a metro station just up here as well in that corner if I can get it there. We'll do it there, actually. So right about there. Now, the reason for that is, like I said, I'm going to connect these up so that they are basically going to be running directly into the rest of the city. That's my plan here. Can I get this to connect across at all? I can get it to go like that, which is a bit awkward. Maybe we don't have it go to that stop anymore. Maybe what we do is we have it sort of cross over from there to that point and go straight to there. So this blue line, which is quite popular actually, is now going to be dragged from there to there. Which will probably annoy quite a few of the people that are there, but that's just going to have to be the way of it, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's not the new endpoint for that blue line, which is probably fine. People can still get to the blue lines, no problem. This one is going to be moved a little bit, so it's going to come right out to that point. But it's also still going to go there. I do still want it to go over this way. So can I drag the blue line and put a stop there? There we go. So yeah, it's still going to come in like that, but it's going to end up at that point now. And this one's going to be very similar, except the endpoint is not going to be there. It is going to be there. So yeah, basically we're just extending the blue lines a little bit into these areas, which is totally fine by me. It gives these areas a connection to the metro lines, which is something I absolutely want to do. So now you can hop on a tram, come down to here, jump onto the metro, and that can take you right in to the heart of the city. Which I think is going to be something people are really going to want to do. I might even do the same with like a vertical line going, you know, from here just straight up to the top. That might not be a terrible idea. And it would be totally doable as well. I think I'm going to give that a shot because there's a hospital here. So what I'll do is I'll put a metro station there, and I want to connect it to, I guess there is maybe gonna have to be the spot. Maybe there. No, it's no. There's a. See, the thing is, there's a tunnel there already for a train, which slightly complicates things. Because what I have to do there is basically make my metro line go deeper than the train, which is apparently already fairly deep by the looks of it. I will curve this around a little bit, just like that. Then I will curve it sort of that way a little bit. And can I get these to line up? Is the real question. So I can, that's good. Alright. So that's going to go from there to there. So that curves a little bit, that'll keep some speed, and it comes into there. So what I want this to do now is I want this line to be able to go straight up through the city. So a lot of this is all about to get really complicated, especially here, good lord. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we take it, so that comes in and goes to there. Maybe this line here isn't used, so that's gonna go. Maybe what we do is we have this curve from there, like that. So it's gonna go up this side, because that's gonna have a little bit less traffic on it. I think that's gonna be a really good thing. So it's gonna come up this way, it's gonna go to there, it's gonna go like that. It's gonna go up here, it's gonna cross over to that way. And it can sort of go around and up here. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Busy, but probably fine. So start there, and we're gonna bring this down. It's gonna go to that point. It is gonna skip that one, and it's gonna go to that point. It's gonna skip that one. It's gonna go to that one. It'll skip that one, but go there. Then I want it to come straight down to here, and then basically just go all the way back up. So, stop there. And stop there. And there isn't a stop there, but there is one there. There's not a stop there, but there is one there as well. We don't have one there. We do have one there. So that right there is going to be a pretty good line, I think, to have. So if we sort by name for a second, this line here is going to be... I'm going to go purple on it because it's a vertical line as opposed to one of the horizontal ones. A little bit harder to see, but I reckon that will also be a fairly popular line because you can go from the very... This south point of the city right up to the north point of the city, and I think that's going to be really, really good. I think that's going to be quite a popular line, so hopefully it will be. Hopefully we're going to see some people keen to jump on those lines and do their thing. This already is quite busy, which is beautiful news. This one here isn't going to be because there's no reason for it to be. This one also quite busy. Also beautiful news. And this one here... currently, no one on it, but that's sort of to be expected. Eventually, I imagine this one will pick up a little bit of popularity, especially with it being right next to a hospital there. I could even go a bit further and chuck in a couple of parking lots to sort of artificially inflate the popularity of this area, but I don't really think I need to do that. I could do this, though. A couple of parking lots around the metro station. That could be kind of nice. Almost like a park and ride kind of system. Park your car up, get on the metro, head into the city for a day, get back, jump in your car, head home. I think that's quite nice. Do just a nice big tree there. And yeah, that's actually, there are a few people jumping down on there as well, which is really, really nice to see. So ladies and gentlemen, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is get one more little district. Actually, we'll get these two in here and we'll zone them and then we'll leave it there for today. Because really all that's left to do at the moment is just wait for these areas to build up. Because once that's done, I want to look and see how the traffic's doing before we start expanding off of this road down here to put in some of the industrial stuff we might want to do, or just put in this or that or whatever. I don't really want to do any of that until, like I said, we've got the, what am I looking for? Until we've got the traffic sorted, basically. So yeah, I don't want to overdo it on these roads, is basically what I'm getting at. Because if I overdo it on these roads, it's going to be a nightmare to fix later down the line, because this area is really close to a highway. It's not the easiest thing to tweak, and, you know, I don't want to mess up my my system here. I like that we have that one main road, and then off of that you have a couple of smaller avenues, and then off of those you have the roads that the people live on, so I do like it being that way, and I don't want to mess it up. So we'll get those two districts in there. Elizabeth Square is going to have... I think, you know what? Elizabeth Square could maybe be another commercial area. So tax relief for high-density commercial, big business benefactor, high-rise ban, encourage biking, and Old Town. The services are going to be smoke detector, recycling, parks and rec, and I think that's all we need. Then over here is smoke, recycling, parks and rec, and I think we'll do an education boost on this one. Taxation's fine. Then it's high-tech housing, high-rise ban, Old Town, and encourage biking. Also, did I do the high-tech housing in all of these? I don't think I did, and I want to do that. So, high-tech housing on all of those. There we go. And then these guys here, like I said, you are going to be a commercial district just there, and you are going to be a new residential district just there. So they're going to take some time to build up and get dense, but when they do, we should see some pretty good stuff. Having a look at this line, getting popular. Definitely getting popular, up to 129 people. I reckon we'll see more than that soon enough. Let's see, where's the first stop in the purple line? First stop is there, then there. What about way up north? Is anyone keen to use that line up here? Oh, wow, yeah, no, people are definitely keen to use it up here. Yeah, my metro line's getting super busy. There's a lot of trains moving around, but I'm not too worried. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and leave it there for today. We're making some pretty good progress. I'm really liking how this is looking around here. These buildings are having issues with electricity, but we should eventually bridge the gap there once someone decides to build in that little space just there. So yeah, I think we're making good progress. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you kindly for watching. As always, it has been an absolute pleasure. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.